we end up at a Hollywood party. And I know it's a Hollywood party because half the room is filled with 45 to 65-year-old men. The other half, nothing but 23-year-old supermodels in crop tops and six-pack abs. So I'm angry. I'm like an angry wet cat, okay? I don't want to be there. No one wants to engage with me. I could freak out at any moment. And at that point, Kristen goes, well, think of all the networking opportunities. And I go, whoa. Okay, that guy looks like he directs porn and these girls don't have work ethic. What the hell am I doing here? This doesn't make sense, okay? At that point, I'm like, if you need me, I'll be at the food table, okay? So I walk over to the food table. Thing is, I told you LA was my second home. Food tables are my first. So I set up shop, and as I'm doing that, Kristen is a socialite. She's buzzing around, and every now and then she'll grab somebody to introduce me to. And under normal circumstances, I would be honored to meet these people. But I have no feelings left, and I am numb to the world. So she brings over somebody, and she's like, Nicole, this is Anthony. He started all the CSIs. And I'm like, great, Malamar. And she goes, oh, here. And Nicole, this is Melody. She's been on Young and the Restless for 30 years. And I'm like, Nikki Newman, great. Check out this chocolate fountain, eh? Then lastly, she brings over this guy that looks just like Michael Bay because he's Michael Bay. Again, normally it would be starstruck. He comes up and she goes, Nicole, this is Michael. He directed all the Transformers. And I don't know if it was the sugar high, but I said, can you transform these strawberry cream puffs into chocolate? Because that's Mama's speed. And then at that point, because I'm like, worst case, they'll think it's funny. He didn't. And so at that point, I need my chocolate fix. So I go up to the caterer, I slip him a 20, and I'm like, bring me some chocolate cream puffs. So he brings out a tray. Now I would like to tell you I'm about 2 cream puffs in when this next part happens, but we're all friends here. So I'm 13 cream puffs in. And as I'm eating them, I'm like looking across the kitchen and I see this gorgeous guy, late 40s, looks kind of familiar. And I'm like, oh, who is that? He looks up at me, smiles. I smile back while wiping it off my face. And then he goes back to his conversation. And then I feel tingles throughout my whole body. And I'm like, what was that? So I get Kristen. I'm like, Kristen, who's that guy? And she goes, oh, yeah, we did a project together last year. That's Michael Vartan. Do you guys know who that is? Yes. Oh, yes. Don't worry, I'll explain it for everybody. Okay. So Michael Vartan is this gorgeous, talented actor who's very popular in the early 2000s. He was in the show with Jennifer Garner called Alias. Yep. He was opposite Jennifer Lopez in Monster-in-Law. And he was in my favorite romantic comedy of all time with Drew Barrymore called Never Been Kissed. For all the millennials in here that are completely lost, just picture Ryan Gosling 15 years from now and that's who's in the kitchen, okay? Great. Now, Never Been Kissed came out when I was 17. And in 1 year, I watched it upwards of 300 times. It was bad. It was bad. I didn't have friends. Okay, so, I was obsessed with that movie so much that I would steal my mother's People magazines and I would cut out pictures of his face. And then I would take those photos and put them on a poster board and I would take that poster board and put it on my nightstand. And then I would kiss it every night and wish him sweet dreams. Kids, am I right? That's crazy. It's totally normal. It's fine. Because back then it was a collage and it was creepy. You know what they call it now? A vision board, and it's manifesting. Yeah, and that's why he's in the kitchen right now, because I willed it into life, okay? All right, so I look at Chris and I go, you have to introduce me. No. What do you mean, no? When I meet him, you have to introduce me. I'm not gonna do that. Kristen, you drug me here. I wanna meet them. I need this. Please introduce me. And she goes, I'm not gonna do that. You are in a full body sweat and you have custard on your chin. I am not doing that. So we start fighting back and forth. At the same time, through the sea of America's Next Top Models, one at the helm, Trinity, stands up and she's like, "Who wants to dance? Turn down for what?" And she starts playing the music and I'm like, "Us! Trinity, turn down for us, the two old hags, okay? We're trying to have a conversation about carpal tunnel and eye cream. Turn it down!" To which she does, and at the same time I look over and all the men are laughing, including Michael Vartan. And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, you like comedy, I'm your..." Oh, that's cool. Then he starts to walk over and I'm like, "Oh, no, Kristen." And she goes, "Well, looks like you get your chance." And I'm like, "Chance for what? What's happening? What's happening?" She goes, "Michael, so good to see you again. This is my friend Nicole. You two have a wonderful night. Bye." And she walks away and I'm like, "No, my life preserver's gone. No, come back. Hi." There's no blood rushing to my brain at this point. So the next 3 exchanges are me just trying to repeat what he's saying because I can't breathe and I cannot focus. So he comes up and he's like, "It's a great party, huh?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's a great party, huh?" He goes, "Yeah, the caterers did a really good job on the food." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, caterers make food."